shit. Look at this. Well, if you clicked on the video, I'm sorry to tell you that I did not wreck my bike. I clickbaited the fuck out of you though. So thanks for watching. Oh, so like this little, there's two things that can happen from this, right? I can either get super famous, start making tons of subscribers from YouTube, and be able to quit my job, or number two, I can have everybody say, "You clickbaiting motherfucker." Alright, so like I said, I didn't wreck my bike. I didn't wreck this bike anyway. So I've gotten this question a few times on YouTube and Instagram. I got a guy messaged me the other day on Instagram, and he wanted to start riding, but basically was wondering, you know, how long I've been riding and how have I ever wrecked. So I'm gonna tell you the story of how long I've been riding and how many times I've actually wrecked. So I'll go get across the road here, but anyways, yeah, what am I talking about? Alright, so here's the thing, is I've been riding for roughly, I mean, I guess if you count it from the time I started riding to the time now, 11 years, right? I haven't actually been riding for 11 years though, because there's been a couple years in between that financially I just couldn't afford a bike. I was young and I just couldn't afford a bike, right? So give or take a couple years less. So just take. Alright, so yeah, 18, my dad drove his, I think it was a 1984. I've mentioned this in multiple other videos, but it was a 1984 Kawasaki LTD 550. I'll put a picture of it up in the video. I mean, nowadays, comparing it to this bike, I would say, yeah, it was a piece of trash. Not a piece of trash, but it was a piece of shit old bike. But it didn't really matter to me at the time. And it was my dad's, like, he just had this bike and he wasn't really riding it, and I didn't have a car at the time. I had just turned 18, and he was like, well, hey, I'll drive this bike up to you, I'll give it to you, and you can have it, and you can learn how to ride on it. And before that, I had only ridden dirt bikes and four-wheelers, shit like that. Nothing on the street, no bike, no legitimate street bike. So he drove this bike up to me when I was 18, and ooh, warning, flood. So he drove this bike up to me when I was 18. I learned how to ride on it. I used to ride it around in the grass and shit, and it was fun, good times. And watch that kid be like, I know you. It's happened like every single time I've been out riding lately. But anyways, alright, so he rode this bike up to me. I started learning how to ride on it. I had fun with it. Rode it for roughly 2 years. I didn't really ride it that much though, because I got a car not long after that. And in North Carolina, as you know, you can't ride a bike all year long like you can in Florida. So anyways, I've been riding for, let's just say, 8 years roughly. Alright, so there was probably about 3 years in between there that I didn't legitimately have a bike and wasn't actually riding. So let's just say 8 years, whatever. Alright, so I've been riding for 8 years. I have crashed, guess how many times? Guess how many times? No, it's not 0. And no, it's not 100. Asshole. I've crashed twice, okay? Now, how many times have I dropped a bike, like in a parking lot? Probably like more than I have fingers. I can't count that high. So I've dropped quite a few bikes, like over stupid stuff, like thinking the kickstand was down and just losing footing. Like being, if you've ever, obviously if you've ridden, and if you ever pull up to a, like say you're at a gas station or something, there's gravel on the ground, you go to put your foot down and you lose traction on your feet. So I've had that happen to me like twice. You know, just stupid shit like that. Oh, crackhead. So yeah, but actually wrecking, like actually riding the bike and crashing, I've crashed twice. Alright, so I'll tell you the 2 times that I've crashed. One you guys might remember if you've been watching my channel for long enough. It was, I want to say 2012 or 2000. Yeah, I want to say it was 2012 or 13. It was somewhere right around there, 12 or 13. It was about 4 years ago. What are you doing, dude? Turn signal maybe? That would help. So yeah, so about 4 years ago, I want to say, I don't know. Honestly, it was like 3 or 4 years ago. I had my Ninja 1000. I literally had that bike for 700 miles and crashed it. And you know why? I think I was, well, I know why for one thing. We actually crashed on one of these roads that we typically ride on, or I actually crashed. So I was with my dad and another kid, Andrew, and we were out riding, and we stopped at the Sonic. And you know, bikers, we start up and we start mingling and talking, and we were there for probably like an hour or so, and my tires were totally cold. And then we came back from the Sonic, and we went straight back towards our house, and there's this really curvy road on the way back, real tight twisties, you know, you gotta go like 20 miles an hour through them tops. And I was just feeling good. My dad had just mentioned, he was like, man, your knee was like so close to the ground. Like, I was getting it that day. I was pushing my shit way too far, pushing my luck. And guess what? I got bit. So on the ride back, I was making a left, right around the left tight twisty, and I was going probably 30, maybe 35 max. So obviously it wasn't a high-speed crash. Don't open, there's zombies in there, bro. So 35 miles an hour, and it was right on the left-hand turn, and I just slid out. I'm completely, like, by the time it happens, like, here's the thing is, people think you're gonna get, like, you can prepare yourself for a wreck, and in my eyes, you cannot. Because when it happens, it's gonna happen really, really, really fast, and you're not gonna see it coming. I mean, maybe if it's like a high side or a tank slap or something like that, maybe. But I mean, even a high side is gonna happen so fast, you're not even gonna see it happen. By the time you realize you're wrecking, you're gonna be on the ground. So that's my thoughts on that. And basically I slid out, I rolled my ankle. I was wearing boots just like these actually, and I rolled my ankle. The whole front of my helmet, I didn't get it on video, I didn't have my GoPro on me, and the whole front of my helmet was all scratched up, so my face would have been screwed. I was wearing a mesh jacket like this, and it ripped the jacket a little bit, tore it up, but I didn't have a scratch on me. Aside from my ankle was like rolled, probably because when I was, you know, when you hit the ground and you start rolling over and tumbling, your legs, you have no control of what's happening, so your legs are just getting twisted, and boom, boom, you're hitting the ground fast. So anyways, I was on my couch for like 3 days with a twisted ankle. That was about it. Nothing big. Alright, so that story, that's it. I was fine, the bike was fine. It like bent one of my handlebars. I got a new handlebar and it scratched up my lower fairing. Not a big deal at all. So my other crash was not on my first bike, but it was on my second bike, which was a Honda. I have no clue what year, because I just bought this bike off of Craigslist. I spray painted the thing black. It was like a bobber type bike, and it was a Honda CM450E. I remember that much of it. And so it was a 450. It was like a, I guess, parallel twin 450. It was like an old standard cruiser bike, but it was like bobbered out. So fun bike. Had a lot of fun with that bike, but I wrecked that. I was on the way to a friend's house, and I was going too fast around a corner. I don't even know if I was going that fast, really. I think I was probably going like 45, 50. Like I said, this is almost 10 years ago. So I had been riding for about a year and a half or so then, So my first crash, this is my first crash I'm talking about now. Like I said, I was 19, I guess, and I just went around a corner and there was dirt in the road. And this is out in North Carolina, where there's tractors, there's farmland, and it was actually a hayfield that I wrecked into. So I was going around this left-hand corner. Left-handers, again, here we go. Stay away from left-handers. Just kidding. Going around this corner, and I hit a patch of sand, and when I hit the patch of sand, I instantly just hit the ground, rolled, and at this time I was really stupid. All I had on was a helmet. I don't think I had gloves on or anything. Probably wearing shorts. Knowing my 18-year-old self, I didn't really give a shit about much of anything. But anyways, yeah, so I was wearing shorts, probably tennis shoes, whatever. Well, what happened this time is when I wrecked, I slid out into the cornfield, and the bike landed on top of me. It didn't land on top of me, like the whole thing, but the pipe landed on the inside of my leg right here, and the exhaust, manifold, whatever, because it's all open. It's not like a sport bike where all the headers and everything is like basically away from you, aside from the plastic. Plastic's just guarding you. So this bike landed, basically the muffler, whatever, landed on the side of my leg, and it lay there for a second, like maybe a second or two, maybe. I don't know, it wasn't long at all. And I freaking pushed the bike off of me, and at the time I had no idea I had just gotten severely burned. But anyways, I got super burned bad. Like, I still have the scar. It's like the size of a freaking ostrich egg. It's like this big, and it's right on my calf. And you can still see it, like if I show you, it's like a pinkish color. Just a circle, like an oval. And, yeah, man, it freaking sucked. So I got back to the house, my friend's house, and I go sit on this couch, and I like played it off like, oh, nothing happened, you know. I didn't want to tell anyone because I felt kind of stupid, to be honest. So anyways, I'm sitting there on the couch, and he's like, dude, what's wrong with your leg? I'm like, you know, what? Look down my leg. My leg's like bubbling, boiled, looks like a freaking boiled leg. Literally, like, it was bubbling, and it was like there was like pus about to come out, and it was disgusting looking. So basically, the long story short, I still have the scar from that. So, you know, wear your gear, for one thing. So that's my story, basically. I've wrecked twice. I've been riding for 11 years. Knock on wood. I hope I never wreck again, but you never know. I mean, literally, like, riding a bike is like, you know, it's a chance. Every time we get on the bike, it's a chance. Just like getting in your car, just like crossing the street, just like flying on an airplane, riding in a train. Everything you do is taking a chance. When people say they're too scared to ride a bike because they think they're going to wreck or get killed or whatever, you can't live your life in fear and always be scared of what may happen. If that's the case, you might as well not even live, literally, because you could just sit in your house your entire life and be safe from the outside world and die of cancer. Seriously, like, you never can be too safe, to be honest. I don't know how to explain it, but you just have to live your life and not be so afraid of what can or can't happen. Obviously, we all know it's a risk. There's a lot of things that you do every single day that is a risk that you don't even think about. So yeah, just be safe, as safe as you can be. Ride smart, and that's all you can do. And hope that you never wreck. And there's some people that do ride their whole life and they may never wreck. But most of us will wreck at some point. Whether it's a bad crash or it's a small crash. Like mine. Both of mine, I've been extremely lucky. I didn't get hurt. My bikes never really got hurt. And that's not why I still ride. I ride because I enjoy riding. I've always enjoyed riding, and it's like a freedom. It's freedom. Freedom is being on a bike and being able to twist the throttle and go as fast as you want or as slow as you want. Enjoy the scenery, blast it in redline. either way. Just have fun, enjoy it, enjoy your life. Do what makes you happy. Riding a bike makes me happy. Riding a bike makes a lot of people happy. So, I don't know, I can't say anything else other than this. The guy who messaged me, I already replied to the guy, but basically was telling him that, you know, don't be afraid of what can happen, just go with your gut instinct. If you're really that afraid of riding a bike, then maybe you don't belong on a bike. But, and there is people I've met who don't belong on a bike. I've rode with people who you can tell they are scared shitless of being on that bike, but it's like for the image or something like that. I don't really understand it. I don't know. I mean, I guess, hey, if I don't know. I've rode with people that have literally been riding for like 4, 5, 6 years, and they still don't know how to ride. And not saying that I'm an expert or anything, but I think I do all right. So, take this all with a grain of salt, as always, and ride safe, friends, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Alright, let's do this as gently as possible. Fuck me. Why do I do this for you guys? Shit.